take all this meeting to order. First item will be pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If someone would just move to add to the agenda under new business, vote on alcohol and solution.
I make a motion that we amend the agenda under new business to include voting on the resolution to put beer, wine, and alcohol sales on the ballot this month.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to add to the ballot in November for the sale of steel beverages by the drink.
For consumption.
All right, do we have any other discussion? Not, all in favor? Oh, yeah.
So that's just amending the agenda.
All right. So the third item is approved the June 2019 meeting minutes.
I make a motion that we accept the June 20th meeting minutes as presented.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? All right. Next item is approval of the June 20th, 2019 public hearing minutes.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of the June 20th public hearing.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, Melissa, second. Any other discussion? If not, you're all in favor? All right. Okay, approval of June and July financial report.
I do have one quick question on those.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Anybody, I'm asking, did we get the issue resolved with the, advanced disposal?
Yes, we did. And I got credit back for it the other day.
Hold on just a second. Tara, would you turn the air off? Sorry, Let's give about a minute to shut up. I'm going to do that before. Okay. So anyway, your question about the financial report?
Yes, did we get the issue resolved with advanced disposal?
Yes.
Okay.
I've got it back to the original rate the contract was quoted for and got the credit back where we overpaid. So we were
Okay, did
good.
they give us a credit back on the late fee?
Yes.
Okay. That was my question.
Not all of them, but the last few, yes.
Okay.
All right. So I have a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the financial report.
Good question.
Okay.
Online graphics in June? Oh, no, it was July.
That is our website. That is Mary that is hosting our web, well, maintaining the website, I guess you'd say.
Is that $225 a month?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. I thought there was a different amount. I was gonna get with, and find the
I can pull you-
original quote
Okay, I'll pull you the
on that,
invoice.
so.
William Faulkner.
That is for building inspections.
That doesn't fall under that, is that for the new work here?
Well, no, that's actually new housing, new construction that's going on in the town. He inspected Tony's place up there in Meadowlands, and then he's got two houses over here, or one house over here going.
Ah, okay, and so that's why the charge of 200.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
I've got it broke down. I've told Rachel how it breaks down.
He just notified us that he's gonna start building his house. Mr. Hoff, tell me.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
Nope.
All right, if not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the June and July financial report.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir. I'll second.
All right. Have a motion second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Okay. All right, the next one is approval of June and July FEMA financial report.
I'll make a motion that we accept the June and July FEMA financial reports as presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
I have a small question.
Okay.
Why is that being outlined this month? I've never seen that before. That's not a monthly thing, is it? Or do we outline this and show this every month?
The
The
fee.
FEMA-
Well, it was last month.
It was?
Yes, and we didn't have that meeting.
Okay. But we look at this every single month?
Well, it hasn't been because she just has got it up and running.
Okay.
So,
All right. Have we showed it a different way? Are you using a different, it looks like you're using Excel or Word. Maybe that's what's throwing that. 'Cause remember when we used to have the one page that
yeah.
showed it?
Mhm.
It showed the splosh and the women's, all the money was broke down. Remember that one page?
Right.
I don't see that. Is that what this is?
Well, you're probably talking about this,
Yes.
the profit and
Yes,
loss.
sir. Yeah. So that's not this?
No.
No, it's
No,
not that.
this is just a detailed report of what's been spent. on the
Oh,
building.
okay. So we're not doing this like this anymore?
No, we will. I don't think Buffy might have told her that we needed that. So.
Okay. I apologize. I was just trying to.
Oh, no,
If
that's fine.
y'all need the P&L every month, it's not an issue, but.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd like to see where we start, where we end, right?
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Correct.
Okay. Any other discussion? If none, entertain a motion.
I made a motion.
Oh, did you?
I second it.
Oh, a second? Okay, I'm sorry, we got discussion there. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? All right, pass. Okay. Old business, they withdrew their rezoning request. The property just did not work as well as they thought, so they, withdrew that. As far as the update on the town hall repairs, we're still around 90–95%. We still got a little bit to do because Tony Golden is only working in between because it's not really affecting our function. So, as far as on the inside, just hang the bathroom sinks, finish the ramp area, and install the kitchen appliances. That's all we like. All right, update on the alcohol ordinance. We have that. I think everybody got to look at that.
Yeah, we have a draft of it now. Obviously tonight we're considering putting on the ballot a vote on whether to allow liquor sales by consumption at places that sell food as well, in Talking Rock. The ordinance would not necessarily need to be passed or voted on until after that vote occurs. So it's something that you can look through if you see any changes that you think need to be made or have any questions about any section of it. Jeff and I are happy to answer. It is just for consumption sales. There's no package sales provided for in this. So it'd be consumption at restaurants that are properly licensed.
So if we had say like a microbrewery or a winery that wanted to come in, we would have to do another ordinance under
There are, and that's something that we can work on and add to it. There are some farm winery provisions that some of the other municipalities around have adopted. There are also brew pub provisions that are definitely things that we could add. Those are things that are becoming more and more popular and prevalent.
Well, I would like to add that, you know, I mean, like I say, you would have to, I think you have to have a farm license first.
There's some different licensing requirements for farm wineries, yes.
Yes, but, I mean, of course, we don't have an area inside the town limits that's suitable for that.
But if we're going through and doing a whole alcohol ordinance and that's something that you contemplate maybe happening in the future, we can go ahead and have that language in there, even if that's not something people are applying for this year or next year. It doesn't hurt to have the language in that that's an avenue that if the right piece of property exists in Talking Rock at some point, to have language in there. Or you can always amend the ordinance at a later date to add those sections.
Just say, at a different town or city, someone's come in and wanted to do a winery, but the actual farm is outside the limits, you know, the city limits. So what they want to do is they want to sell their product there, you know, distill it or and sell it there. So that's basically what we're, I guess, asking is, you know, that they are able to sell farm produced wine, I guess you could say. I mean, I don't want somebody store-bought to sell down here, but if somebody made it in this area and wanted to sell their product in a store or something that had a license to do it, or they wanted to rent a space.
They wanted to supply a restaurant or something that had a license to sell.
Yeah.
As long as that farm winery were properly licensed in whatever jurisdiction it's in, it would be able to sell, as long as it's licensed to do so. If we're talking something outside of the city limits of Talking Rock, selling into Talking Rock, as long as that entity's licensed, they would be able to sell to any licensed restaurant or licensed seller in Talking Rock.
Okay.
If we're talking about down the line wineries being able to establish themselves inside of Talking Rock, that's a different thing. That's where we would need to add that farm winery portion to the ordinance.
Okay.
And we can either do it up front and have it there for the future, or it's something that could be amended and added to the ordinance later if the right property and the right person presents themselves.
Okay. I would like to sell wine that's farmed. I don't know what the proper wording for that is, but the wine.
Locally produced wine,
Yeah, what's that?
locally produced wine.
Yeah, and then a microbrewery, as long as they're, you know, a small operation that's doing it here, or, you know, I mean, I don't think I want to get into somebody. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if they set a store up, that would be fine, and had the brewery here. But I'm not sure about somewhere else and then shipping it in here. But I would love for the restaurant to be able to sell. You know, say like Blue Ridge, I think they've got a couple breweries up there. If they want to carry their brand, then they ought to be able to sell that brand. But I would like some language in there for a microbrewery.
Okay.
Well, and we need something, just because we're gonna allow the locally grown or winery, I don't want it that somebody's setting up a shop and all they're doing is selling their wine. Because to me, that progresses into a package store.
Right, and the ordinance we have drafted does not have package store language in it. There's food requirements along with the sale of alcohol within this. Canton has similar food requirements. In order to be licensed to sell alcohol, you have to sell a certain amount of food as well. So that language is in here. Doing package sales would be an additional section to the ordinance if that's something y'all wanted to do down the line. This is really drafted for consumption on the premises sales. So for restaurants, or if you had a brew pub that had some food component, to be able to sell along with food.
Okay, I guess we can look into that portion a little later. As long as we don't have to vote on the ordinance tonight.
So the ordinance would not need to be voted on until licensing is going into effect and starting to talk about.
Okay, all right, so no other old business, so we'll start with new business. The first item is resignation of Councilmember Kayla Gay. I have a letter here. It's actually dated last month, but anyway, please accept this letter as a notification that I'm resigning my seat on the council as well as my position as Mayor Pro Tem, which is what he was effective immediately. If you have any questions, please let me know. As y'all know, he hasn't been here, but then he took a job out of town and he's sure can't get here now, so.
He's moving.
I'll make a motion that we accept the resignation of Councilman Caleb Gay.
He's not moving, but it's like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours where he's working. All right, so we have a motion to accept the resignation of Caleb Gay. Do I have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Okay. Okay. Even though we know that Buffy, resigned, we have to have an official letter for the bank to switch it from her signature to Rachel's. So we have to make it official, and I have a letter from her. Please accept this letter as a resignation of my position as town clerk effective April 30th, 2019. I do not feel I have enough time to give to this position. Thank you for the opportunity to learn some new things and work with a great group of people.
I make a motion that we accept the resignation of Town Clerk Buffy Holcombe.
Okay. I have a second?
A second.
All right. We have any discussion? If not, all in favor? Okay. All right. The next item is reappointment of Kayla Hollifield to the library board. Her term is,
I make a motion that we reappoint Kayla Hollifield as our representative on the Pickens County Library Board.
okay, do I have a second?
I don't know what that is.
Was a trustee board.
Who was the lead?
Well, she came a time or two. I don't know if
Yeah.
she came here, but she's volunteered to do it and nobody else wants to, so. So, she's agreed, so that's where we.
And where is this Pickens County Library Board?
Well, the library, the Pickens County Library is on, corner of, Cove Road and, it's on Burnt Mountain Road.
So as part of the county, we have a representation
Yes.
that goes there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
We, as part of our contract, we give them a certain amount of money every year. Things like 200, 250 that we give to them, and they in turn, we have a representative on the board.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Okay. Okay, I think I've slipped up here because the renewal of the CD for the schoolhouse museum is due tomorrow, is that right? And the problem is I didn't do a resolution, we didn't do a resolution to, do that.
I spoke with Buffy, she said you didn't have to do a resolution for
Mm-mm.
it, so I didn't do one.
Oh, you don't have to do a resolution to,
You do to open one, but you don't to
For
renew
opening,
it.
yeah.
Oh,
it'd
okay.
just be
So-
renewal.
oh,
It's not a
okay.
new
Okay.
account.
okay, well then okay, then
So
I
then we're
did.
gonna,
Okay, so anyway, the, item D is renewal of CD for schoolhouse museum.
I'll make a motion that we renew the CD for the Cock and Rock Schoolhouse Museum.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay. All right, any other discussion? None, all in favor? Okay. Okay, we added, item E, which is to, add to the referendum of voting in November for the sale of, liquor by the, drink.
So the language on the ballot would just be, shall the governing authority of Talking Rock be authorized to issue licenses to sell distilled spirits for beverage purposes by the drink, such sales to be for consumption only on the premises. So that's the language in the statute. And that's what would be on the ballot for people to vote on. After that, if it passed, we could then pass an ordinance.
I make a motion that we put this issue on the ballot for the community to vote on in November.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Okay. So I can take that to the election office or to you?
Yes, so, I've got a couple copies of it. I'm gonna get you to sign my copy and the clerk to sign my copy, and then we'll leave y'all with the signed one as well.
Okay.
So
and
that's
then-
what they should need, is the resolution to put that language on the ballot.
Okay, all right. All right, so does anybody here have any other business?
I think this is one that you have to do. It's a resolution for the census partnership.
Yeah. Yes. So, yes, it was typed in there. So can
Just
we,
amend the agenda, again to add an
Yeah.
I
F.
make a motion that we amend new business on the agenda to include the resolution for the 2020 census partnership.
okay. So it says, whereas the U.S. Census Bureau is
Wait a
required.
minute, you gotta get a second to add it to the agenda.
Oh, that's right, second.
Oh,
All in favor?
yeah.
All right. So we have a resolution here that's part of the 2020 census partnership. So it says, whereas the U.S. Census Bureau is required by the U.S. Constitution to conduct a count of the population and provide a historical opportunity to help shape the foundation of our society and play an active role in American democracy. Whereas Town of Talking Rock is committed to ensuring every resident is counted. Whereas the federal and state funding is allocated to the communities and decisions are made on matters of national and local importance based in part on the census data and housing. Whereas the census data helps determine how many seats each state will have in the U.S. House of Representatives and is necessary for the accurate and fair redistricting of the state legislation seats in county and city councils and voting districts. Whereas information from the 2020 census and the American Community Survey are vital tools in the economic development and increased employment. Whereas the information collected by the U.S. Census Bureau is confidential and protected by law. Whereas a united voice from business, government, community-based, and faith-based organizations, educators, media, and other will enable the 2020 census message to reach more of our citizens. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Toggenrock is committed to partnering with the U.S. Census Bureau and the state of Georgia, and will support the goals and ideas of the 2020 census, encourage all county residents to participate in events, and provide census advocates to speak to town and community organizations, support census takers as they help our community complete the accurate count, strive to achieve a complete and accurate count of all persons within our borders. Adopted at the regular council meeting, what is today, the 9th or later? 8th day of August 2019.
I'll make a motion that we accept, that we adopt the resolution for the 2020 census.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Okay. What other items? Did Jeff talk to Bill Landon?
I am not sure, Jeff
Okay.
has been unexpectedly out this week.
Okay, so he might not have talked to him. Okay, we might have to have a call meeting to vote a resolution for the splosh. Like I say, I was hoping to get that, but apparently he didn't forward it to me, and I know he's going to talk to Jeff because we had some questions. So,
I'll check with him when he's back in, if he's spoken with him.
Okay. So, any other business? If not, motion adjourned.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, now, second. Adjourn.